Salam alaikum, I'm Carl Arundel and you're watching In Focus. I'm delighted again to be joined by Sheikh Habimana, the Mufti of Rwanda. Salam alaikum, welcome back.
Thank you for having me around again.
Now, with the huge surge in the Muslim community size in such a short space of time, I imagine that must have fueled a similar demand for the building of mosques, for Islamic schools and institutions. I mean, you mentioned earlier on that the growth of the Muslim community coincided with the development of a new government of national unity. What role has the government, President Paul Kagame, played in the construction and capacity building within the Muslim community?
Thank you. First of all, we glorify the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving Rwanda a president in the name of Paul Kagame. A person, first of all, who was able, together with his brothers and sisters on the front line, to be able to stop genocide. That's number one. But number two, a person who was able, for the first time in the history of Rwanda, who was able to bring each and every son and daughter of Rwanda on the same table. Number three, today he is the first leader of Rwanda through our history who was able to wish for each and every family to have a cow. He has got a program of send a cow to a family. Each and every family now is having a cow from the program of the president. And his family, together with the first lady of the Republic of Rwanda, they have got the Imbuto Foundation, in which, through the same organization, they are able to uplift the conditions of our young people, more especially putting an emphasis on girls' education. So we glorify Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us this wonderful leader who was able to bring each and every one on the table. Now, regarding the Muslim community, we consider Kagame to be a person who was able to bring us to the surface, to put us where we're supposed to be. Now, he does not allow any church or any faith to take over, to take everything. So we have to share, all of us. So when it comes to days of celebrating our events, Muslims do pray, Christians pray in all denominations, so we're all over them. When it comes to those who are poor, he has instructed the government to finance the activities. So now let me mention in education, giving us infrastructure, for instance. In Kigali City, and I'll mention only two. In Kigali City, we had a school under the name of Intwari. Intwari means heroes. This school was given to us by Mutara Rudahigwa III. And this king is the last king who wished for all Rwandese to be one family. So he gave us a school because he said these colonial people, they are not ready to give education to this community of mine, even though Muslims, they are not ready to give them education, so let me give them a school. He gave us a school. In his wish, in the wish of the king, it was to have a double-story building of the school. So Kagame, upon taking over, first of all, he brought back our school, because the same school was taken in 1962 by the regimes, saying the Muslims have no right in this country. They took it and it was given to Presbyterians of Rwanda. So the first thing which Kagame did is to give us our school back again. 5 years later, he made the school one of the best schools in the same wish of the king. It's a double-story building, modern one, wonderful one, paying the salaries to the teachers and providing the requirement of the school provided by the government of Rwanda through the willingness of the government of national unity. Number two, if you go up north, Musanze district, close to $500,000 US is invested already in infrastructure over there in terms of school and elsewhere. But let me mention only these two. Another point of putting people as normal as other citizens. He said, I can see this Mufti has no car. I would like to give him a car which fits the Mufti of Rwanda. As a result, he bought me a brand new Land Cruiser, just like ministers.
Lovely.
So I'm driving a very wonderful car, just like ministers, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. So this is a president. When it comes to advocacy, whoever comes to Rwanda Muslim, he will tell him that look after these people, support them. For instance, through his advocacy, we were able to have a radio from Libya, radio, Voice of Africa, Kigali FM, broadcasting on 93.5. That is the advocacy of His Excellency Paul Kagame. When you come to education again, through the visitors who came from United Arab Emirates, we've got 2 schools. One of them is a modern school providing science education to our girls. So this advocacy of His Excellency Paul Kagame. When it comes to scholarship out of Rwanda, we've got many students schooling abroad, advocacy which was done by His Excellency Paul Kagame to Libyans, telling them we better provide education to these people. But amazing now, amazing. Here, the president of the Sudan comes in Comesa. I don't recall the year properly, but it was the last Comesa in Rwanda. I was given a chance to meet the president of the Sudan. And my wish was to have our Muslim institution, but on a modern type of setup. I told Bashir, I said, Bashir, we are here, Your Excellency, we wish if you can help us to modernize our Islamic school, the unique Islamic school in the Great Lakes region. He agreed. But now, maybe through the discussions, I was told again by Bashir that even President was happy with the idea. As a result, we had a school in less than 2 years, a modern, wonderful Islamic school, providing Islamic studies and Arabic language. So this is the president. He does the same to Christians in all denominations. He helps the Catholics. He offers hands to Protestants and everybody. You see. So when it comes to his contribution or Government of National Unity contribution to Rwanda Muslim Association is just unique.
You strike me as though you are overwhelmingly impressed by the extremely progressive president, and particularly with your Land Cruiser. But let me ask you another fundamental question. You've pointed out that Rwanda Muslims have experienced decades of deprivation and isolation, and it's going to take an awful lot to bring them up to an equitable position with the rest of the society. But fundamental to all of this is the recognition that at the heart of most conflicts internationally lies economic strife and deprivation, and that nearly 9 out of every 10 adults are subsistence farmers in Rwanda, and per capita income is actually less than $1 a day. Now, in international terms, this is a definition of poverty. To what degree do you think poverty is a potential trigger for future genocide?
To be honest with you, you're right in whatever you are saying, but we shall never experience genocide because we have reached a stage of no return. There is no genocide anymore. But as you have said, the poverty, the need, and these problems which are facing in Africa is a very big problem. As a result, Rwanda has a vision 2020. We are willing to be able to put on food, to put on table, on everybody's table, food. We wish by then to have all our children going to school freely. And lucky enough, today we're only 2010, all our children are in school and free of charge. They don't pay rent from primary 1 up to junior 6. I mean primary 1 up to primary 6 and senior 1 up to 3. They're not paying school fees. And we're able again, through our insurance schemes, to be able to access medication with no problem. So we are going there to make sure poverty does not become again a problem for somebody to kill another. Because it won't be a genocide, but somebody might kill somebody, or somebody might destroy somebody's home, trying to get into his fridge without his permission in order for him to have food on his table. But we are planning as a country, or we are planning as a nation. The vision of our president is to have our people at least being able to put food on the table, send children to schools, and also access medication.
Now, talking about the economy, there have been reports that Rwanda is becoming, in parts at least, a model of economic development internationally, and that the country actually sits on rich deposits. Some 60% of world reserves apparently sit untapped in terms of all world minerals. In fact, some people refer to Rwanda as the gateway to the Great Lakes region, which may in fact hold the key to tomorrow's fuel needs as black gold runs dry. Will ordinary Muslims, included, I suppose, ordinary citizens in Rwanda, be able to share in the benefits from this developing economy, or will we see, as in many of the neighbouring countries of Rwanda, greed and corruption ensuring that the ordinary people still remain in the depths of poverty?
Yes. I guess on that one, let me recall the statement made by the Mufti of Congo while we were 3 years ago when we were in Istanbul again. We had a meeting of Muslim religious leaders from Africa meeting the Muslim leadership of Turkey. The Mufti of Congo said, we come from the rich country and we are born, in fact, we are born from the rich soil. We live on the rich soil as poor people, and then you are buried once again in the rich soil. That's what he said, amazingly. It is true that the Great Lakes region is the grave of 60% of world reserve in all minerals. But yet, we are there like poor people, living above or on top of that amount of minerals. But now, because we are making a block, our politicians, our good politicians of our region, all the presidents of the region, East African community, the Congo itself, the good relation between Rwanda and Congo right now, the wonderful understanding between Kabila and Kagame today, we hope they will capitalize on our own resources and make us a powerful nation tomorrow, a powerful nation which will provide to others some hands out instead of receiving. And again, I wish we shall be able, as my president said recently, addressing the religious leaders of the region, he said, you need to get tired of begging before those you beg get tired of you. Because very soon, they'll get tired of you, because wherever I go, I knock on the door. After my departure, you go there also and knock on the same door, begging. So I wish, before they get tired of you begging, you need to get tired of begging itself. So this philosophy, I guess it will take us somewhere. But as we've said rightly, corruption in the region is going to cause a chaos. Corruption, greed, and all of these issues might cause a problem. But since Rwanda is becoming a model, it is a country which is considered by everybody in the region. All the countries around Rwanda, they consider Rwanda to be a corruption, crime and corruption free. All of them. A very clean city. No plaques around. Nothing at all. Green. Eco type of city. And again, everybody in the region takes Rwanda, in fact, as a peaceful island in the boiling pot. So we hope we shall go out from Rwanda and spread the message of hope. And for me, from the religious point of view, I was elected by my fellow religious leaders from all churches and all faiths, Christians and everything, to be the chairman for the coming 2 years of the Great Lakes Interreligious Network, affiliated to Religions for Peace. Religions for Peace based in America under the organization WCRP, World Conference on Religion for Peace, with our own good secretary, Dr. William Vandley. So I'm trying, really. I'm trying to make sure through our mosques, through our churches in our region, we spread the message of hope. Stop corruption, stop greed. Let us share. Because
in order to
yes
to achieve this, what seems to me aspiration to become the jewel in Africa, Rwanda really, I suppose, still has to come to terms with what took place in 1994. I think you recently publicly stated that I think I'll quote you, it is our responsibility as religious leaders and the whole community to give moral support to the survivors towards overcoming trauma. And you also expressed a wish for survivors of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi to overcome their own trauma, saying that it's a sign of weakness that it is attributed to the devil. What do you mean by that?
You know, once you become very weak, once you lose hope, once you give up, definitely nobody will be there to rescue you. So the good future, the bright future begins with you as an individual. So I would like to see my survivors of genocide being the first people to lead the campaign of reaching where we need to reach aggressively. I would like to see my survivors not falling into trauma. Because once you fall into trauma, first of all, you're destroying yourself. Number two, you are pleasing somebody who's still moving around with the ideology of genocide. Because they are there. They are there. They are there. We have them. Even though in a small number, but they are there. So once you fall into trauma, you in fact pleasing the one who still has in his mind that one day he will be able to cut your neck again. Because there are people in my country who are still saying the machete used in 1994 were not sharp enough. The coming ones, they will be sharper. So once you fall in trauma, you're in fact pleasing him and making him ready to kill now the finished one, the one who never even resists. So to me, I guess, and my fellow religious leaders, all of us collectively, as I have told you, it is our own responsibility. We have decided that we shall campaign to overcome the trauma. We shall campaign to make sure we take it as our own responsibility. We have decided to say there is nobody to blame. We can't blame a church, we can't blame a mosque, we can't blame a father or a pastor or a sheikh. All of us collectively, we need to face the reality and make sure that our people are recovering, our country is shining, and nobody is sitting aside and watching others eating.
Now, you've taken you've taken part in a number of grassroots and government programs designed to work towards that unity that you talk about and reconciliation, and I think you call it gachacha?
Courts.
The courts, these are traditional courts,
Yes.
are they? Stating that these are the major tools of avoiding such acts from happening again. Are they working?
They are working, aggressively working. As a result, the Interfaith Commission Rwanda, headed by my brother, my friend, my boss, Archbishop of Rwanda, of Anglican Church in my country, Emmanuel Colini, and I'm his vice chair, we have decided to bring together genocide survivors, released prisoners, and the families of prisoners. These are the people we need to put them on table and make sure they live together. First of all, the released prisoners are getting out of the prison because of the Gachacha courts. Because those who committed genocide, there are too many. In fact, was another strategy of involving many people so that there will never be any justice. Because there's no way you can kill another million after losing a million. So people who were involved in genocide were so many. And again, in all ages. Small boys, small girls, elderly people, even old people, they were involved in genocide. So there's no way you can kill all of them. So as a result, Gachacha Court was there to release some prisoners who will come forward and say, I have killed these people, but I'm asking for pardon. Just give me a chance for me to live again as a human being. So the punishment for this person is to show the survivors where their loved ones were buried. And then we offer a decent burial. And it's the end of the story. So these Gachacha courts, these programs are really functioning, and they're functioning to better the condition of Rwanda tomorrow.
So I suppose that relates to your recent statement, or rather a statement you made a few years ago, in fact, that the genocide ideology still exists because people have not learned to bury the bodies. Yes. We need to confess and ask for forgiveness. We need to forgive. If we don't ask for forgiveness and forgive, then God will never forgive us, and so we shall not learn how to bury, and the genocide ideology will always prevail. Have your words been listened to?
I think these words really are functioning, and I don't think I have anything to add on that one because that's still my inspiration.
Now, do you believe that the implementation of a credible process of accountability and justice is important towards ensuring that that never again commitment is upheld across Rwanda as a whole? Yes,
I agree with you 100%. And again, as I've told you, just to make sure that these things are moving, as a result, Rwanda, we are a unique example. We are a learning territory for everybody to come and see. So whoever wants to know that our never again is a true one, must come to Rwanda and see how we deal as a religious community. If you don't have hatred among the religious leaders, then you shall never have a problem on the ground, because normally whatever we have suffered from, whatever was a killing type of machine in my country was provided by us, religious leaders, spiritual leaders. These are the people who do kill and destroy. Obviously, working on behalf of the bad governments. That's misunderstand it, because in Africa, president is everything. That's one of the reasons why in Rwanda we have decided we shall never allow a person to get into the big house, big office, but having the idea or having the ideology of dividing us again. Because we are there in the mosque, we are there in the churches. People do come to our mosques and churches without a written invitation. They just come by themselves to pray. We shall capitalize on these holy places and make sure nobody will dare to enter the big office. Nobody will dare to enter the big house in our country if he's there to come and destroy us. Because these are the people who misuse us and provide bad things. So as a result, our never again is a reality because we have decided never again.
Now, for many, finally, if I may say, for many, the tragic episode of Rwanda and the exemplary response from the Muslim community in providing sanctuary, refuge, and, shall we say, a moral compass, provides one of the most powerful examples that Islam is a religion of peace. How important should this message be on the international stage, where the prevailing view, according to numerous polls, is that Islam is a religion of terror?
MashaAllah.
Is part of your role to speak on the international circuit to dispel those myths?
Let me add on that one. The beauty of Islam, the power of the Quran, the power of our last messenger, mercy to mankind, shows you from those years in Rwanda, from the late 1819, the Muslim community is a product of intermarriage. The biggest number of our fathers are from the Hutu tribe, up to more than 70%. And the biggest number of our mothers are from the Tutsi tribe, more than 80%, with a very, very small minority of foreigners. But this could never happen if Islam was not there to tell people, we have created you out of nations, nationalities, in order for you to know one another, not to discriminate. You see? So as a result, the intermarriage took place in our own homes those years. As a result, we're not ready to kill our grandmothers, we're not ready to kill our brothers-in-law and sisters-in-law, right from the genocide, the test of genocide in 1959 up to 1994. This is the power of Islam. Again, when you come now, after genocide, Islam is playing its role, the beautiful faith. And again, we have decided to tell the whole world about the beauty of Islam, the beauty of the Quran, stopping us from killing one another, because once you do so, you are considered in the eyes of Allah like the person who destroyed the entire universe. And saving one life only, you are considered in the eyes of Allah, that's the Quran. You're considered in the eyes of Allah as a person who has saved the entire universe. This is the beauty of Quran. And again today, we have decided to tell the whole world, you people, Islam is not what you think, or what you hear, or what you read in the papers. Islam is a beauty. Islam is a life. It's just a small message. Save the life. Don't kill. Save the life. And we do this in Rwanda, as primitive as we were those days. There is a statement which I keep giving out every time. I keep saying, telling the world, and let me say it through our wonderful channel, Islam channel. A Muslim, like anybody else, can do bad, but don't blame Islam. Before you judge on Islam, read the Holy Book, read the Sunnah, for you to understand the Quran, then you judge if you need to judge Islam. But judging a Muslim because of his action, then you judge Islam, you are wrong. Yes, Osama is one of us, but he is not all of us. Likewise, Timothy McVeigh, is one of our good American people, but he is not all of them. So if they need to judge Islam, they must judge Islam from the scripture. But judging a Muslim and they condemn Islam is wrong.
With those profound and enlightened words, if I may say, Sheikh Saleh Habimana, the Mufti of Rwanda, may I wish you every success with your endeavours towards securing peace and prosperity in Rwanda. And may I thank you for having joined us today on Islam Channel.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.